There's a review that says they're lying about full grain because it says genuine leather. That's not what genuine leather means. It looks about the same thickness. In fact, the Gustin looks thinner. Here's the black one with the Wrangler 13 MWZs. In this Amazon bag, we have a couple of full grain leather belts. I bought 2 of them for only $32. As we dump those out, they are Vatan. These are not sponsored or anything. I found them on Amazon a few weeks ago for $29.99, and they're on sale for 15 bucks. So I figured, why not see what it's about? Because I did go through the reviews as well, and any of the negative reviews were about their stitched belts, because on Amazon they have listings where they share different types of variants, right, in the same listing, so the reviews will be mixed. And the reviews for these ones were good because they're just full grain leather belts. Here's an after sales warranty, 180 days. Plus, if you're buying from Amazon, of course, you have returns very easily. And the thing feels light. Let's go ahead and slide that off. Okay. Oh, it feels good actually. Let's see. Vatan, genuine leather 32. Now, there's a review that says they're lying about full grain because it says genuine leather. That's not what genuine leather means. Genuine leather can be used on literally anything that's genuine leather. Like it's from a hide, and it's not from like recycled leather that's put together or something, right? This is actually a piece of hide. That's what genuine leather means, and full grain leather is technically genuine leather. Now, this isn't the thickest full grain leather, as you can see, but I mean, like, maybe you can't really tell on the camera. It seems fine though. It just does also, it is definitely a light belt. In my mind, this feels more like a dress belt weight than like a full grain leather belt that I would be used to. So let me take off my current belt. Right here, we have a Gustin. Now these ones are really affordable Gustin. It's kind of wearing off at this point. I've had this belt for so many years. It's gone, made in USA. This is a thick cut leather belt right here. It looks about the same thickness. In fact, the Gustin looks thinner. Bear in mind, I've been wearing this for years, and leather can morph and actually tighten quite a bit. Let's open the black one so we can kind of compare it with the Gustin there. And here it is. It's kind of like a matte black, and it feels, again, basically the same weight as this tan one. This is the tan color. It's a matte black. It feels nice. It feels like a really nice watch strap, to be honest. Like the way that this matte black strap feels in comparison to the Gustin belt here. Yeah, I mean, the holes are going to be much larger as well. Different style. This is definitely a nicer hide. You can tell immediately, right? I mean, I paid 15 bucks for this belt. What can you expect? But I think it'll serve me pretty well. I like that it's matte. In terms of the grain, it's not going to look quite as nice. Here you can see actually the cut here. This would be a chrome tanned leather. That's probably why these are cheaper than, you know, I mean, they can sell them for like 15 bucks because a chrome tan leather is going to be easier to produce. They produce them much faster than something like a vegetable tan leather. But again, full grain, it still is. It's just chrome tanned, not vegetable tanned, which is kind of an important detail. But I can't necessarily see how this would just fall apart because it's just one piece of leather, and it's not like it's dainty. Like what is going to happen to this exactly that it would fall apart just because it's chrome tanned? But yeah, that's how you can kind of tell, is by looking at the core. That's usually how you can tell if something has been chrome tanned, because you can almost see like there's a little bit of bluing on the inside there. And bluing is basically when the hides are tanned with chromium salts, they look blue. And then they eventually go through the tanning process and the dye process and stuff, and it ends up looking a bit like that. With this one, you can't really see it as much because the edges are burnished. They burnish these edges to make them look smoother and nicer, and they did the same on the Gustin, but this thing again is super, super old. And I removed the plastic from that. Here's the stitching on this. Not the most robust, but it looks like it'll do the job just fine. All it's doing is holding the leather together there, and the buckle seems quite sturdy, quite nice. It is like a solid piece of metal, both of these things, so that's good. I thought based on some of the images I saw on Amazon, it looked like it was way lighter, like it almost looked like it could be aluminum, but it definitely is not. Creative design, handmade just for you. And here's the black one with the Wrangler 13 MWZs. When I was pulling it through the denim, the back side of these is semi-rough. It's not super rough or anything, but you can definitely tell when you're pulling it through, it's kind of catching a little bit. Unlike this old belt that I've used for a long time, this one just goes through smoothly. It just glides through. And just for those that are curious, I am a size 31 inch waist. It might be like 31.5 inches right now. And this belt is a size 32. So I got the size 32 because my waist is basically size 32, right? Just below. And if you are wearing like a size 32 jean, more than likely you're going to be a size 34 with your belt. This is a size 34 belt, which is kind of why I wanted a couple new belts, because yeah, it's just a little bit big. Even though I do have a hole punch, I could just punch more holes into this. I kind of have a little bit of sentimental value with this thing. I've taken off like oil filters on cars with this, and I like the belt, you know? And yeah, the boxes are kind of nice. Like if you wanted to buy this as a gift, I mean, you know, it's not fancy, but not everybody on earth is really fancy, and buying something like this for someone is pretty nice because it is a full grain leather belt. It's gonna last, I feel. The biggest downside might be around this stitching. Because of the way the belt works, it's probably not gonna be an issue. I'm just saying it because this stitching isn't super robust, because of course, when you look at a belt like this, right, you have rivets. Look at that, that's a huge difference in terms of the robustness. Like that's never gonna come off. Whereas this stitching, it very well could. This is not like a lifetime kind of belt, I would say, but it's definitely something that's gonna last a really long time, like many years, probably. I mean, I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't think that it would have a little bit of longevity, because it is just a slab of leather, and if something fails here, like the stitching, would be kind of annoying, but at the same time it would be pretty easy to rivet yourself. You know, you could actually buy a couple of rivets yourself, which would be a fun little mini project, right? And as I mentioned about this matte black, over time with the oils from your hands and stuff, it will probably start to look a little bit more smooth, which I actually kind of like. I'm kind of curious how this thing will start to age compared to something like a vegetable tanned, you know, Horween Latigo leather. That's what this is right here. Well known versus unknown chrome tanned leather that is honestly kind of nice looking. I'm definitely not hating on how it feels. It doesn't feel like plastic or anything. It feels like leather. Can't really ask for much more for 15 bucks. Here we have the tan color. This one slid through a lot easier than this black one, because this one has a somewhat of a rough underside. It's not really rough, but it is like a rough outright. It's not as smoothed out as this one is. Wrangler 13 MWZ with the 7 belt loops. I didn't even realize that they kind of match the boots. They complement the boots, let's say. These are Red Wing 877s, and the color is not a match, but it is definitely complementary. And these boots, these 877s, will actually start to darken a bit and redden a little bit more over time as you start to condition them and stuff. They're quite new right now, and they won't look quite like this, but they'll start to look a little bit more like it, honestly. Yeehaw. Yeah, I mean, 15 bucks. Would I recommend it for the vast majority of people that aren't into like super high-end things and you just want something that's going to hold your pants up? Yeah, I would recommend these belts. They're not sponsored. I paid for them. 32 bucks for 2 of them only. You know, I have Amazon Prime, so the shipping came within 2 days. But if you are the type that likes really high-end, high-quality stuff, and I'm kind of that type. I like cheap stuff. I like expensive stuff. Splished is about functional fashion. Check out my website, splished.com, where I write about a lot of this stuff. And yeah, if you like the higher end stuff, then I would say don't go for this. It's cheap. It's $15, right? What do you expect? Or $30 at retail. It's on sale. The reason you wouldn't want this over a higher end vegetable tanned leather belt is because the collagen fibers in here are going to be kind of removed in a sense from the chromium salts, from the chrome tannage, and this is a weaker belt overall. You're not going to be able to do things like I mentioned with my Gustin belt, where I was able to pull off an oil filter using the belt because these things, they might even tear if you do stuff like that with them. However, if you're just using it as a regular belt, you're not using it as like a gear belt to where you're loading up like a gun or something or whatever, a holster, then you're just using it to hold up your pants. Yes, I would recommend it in that sense. But any other case where you're kind of like a little bit more discerning, you need it for a little bit more durability because of things like gear belts, then no, I don't think I would recommend this. In fact, no, I wouldn't. But yeah, check out my links in the description, in the comments, and especially my website, splished.com, because I write a lot about how to save a lot of money on things and higher end stuff than this typically. So sign up there and I'll send you an email on 10 ways to save on heritage clothing and gear.